Picture this. You just checked into a highly rated, incredibly cozy Airbnb after a super long day of travel.
Oh, the best feeling.
Right. So you drag your suitcase through the door, you throw your keys on the counter, and you just go to unpack.
Yeah.
But what you are completely unaware of is that your own brain is basically biologically wired to ignore the hidden camera tucked inside the smoke detector right above your head.
Yep. It's terrifying.
You can look right at it, but your mind literally edits it out of your reality. So today we're doing a deep dive into a piece of technology that actually claims to fix that biological blind spot.
I mean, the human mind is incredibly efficient.
Right.
But that efficiency creates these severe vulnerabilities when our environment changes faster than our evolution. And, well, the physical environment of privacy has changed drastically.
Oh, completely. Which brings us to the focus of today's deep dive. We are looking into an app called DETEKCAM. And the sources we had on the table for this one are just a fascinating mix.
They really are.
We've got their technical product specifications, we have their market pricing models, and a deeply detailed, heavily researched document on human neuroscience.
Which is where it gets crazy.
Exactly. So our mission today is to figure out not just how this AI-powered hidden camera detector bypasses your phone's hardware limitations, but to uncover the specific mechanisms it uses to actively rewire the human brain's threat detection pathways. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, to understand the biological rewiring, we really first need to establish the physical parameters of the threat.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is this tech built to counteract?
Right, because we aren't talking about those bulky security cameras anymore.
Exactly. Or, the stuff of Cold War spy novels.
Right.
The technology has shrunk to microscopic levels. It's mass-produced, it's remarkably cheap, and it's manufactured specifically to be integrated into totally mundane objects.
The sources outline a pretty grim market reality for this, honestly. We're talking cameras disguised as wall chargers, air vents.
Oh, hooks in a changing room.
Yes. Hooks, decorative knickknacks, all of it. Like the Jean-Pierre Francis case is highlighted in our research.
Oh, wow, and it's awful.
It is. This involved a man who utilized concealed cameras and everyday items to secretly record women in homes and workplaces for almost a decade.
10 years.
Nearly 10 years of undetected continuous surveillance. It's just wild.
And, the institutional and commercial data reflects the exact same trend. The sources document this major voyeurism incident at Nanyang Junior College in Singapore.
Right, exposing massive privacy gaps in places you'd think are totally safe and regulated.
Exactly. And there is a measurable documented rise in hidden recording devices found in mall changing rooms across Asia, budget hotels, short-term rentals, and the data shows a really clear pattern in targeting. Women, solo travelers, and teenagers bear the brunt of this exposure.
The threat is pervasive. But more importantly, I think it is practically invisible to the naked eye. And that is the baseline DETEKCAM is operating from. Their literature heavily promotes this advanced multi-layer detection system. They claim to detect lenses, infrared, and magnetic waves.
Yep, the big three.
But I have to push back hard here, because when I read this, my immediate thought is, well, how?
Right, it sounds like magic.
Yeah. I mean, software is just code. I have a standard smartphone in my pocket. How does downloading an app suddenly give my basic phone camera the physical ability to see a magnetic wave?
Well, your skepticism is entirely justified there, because standard camera hardware cannot do that on its own.
Okay, so what's the trick?
The app basically relies on hijacking and repurposing the existing sensors in your phone that you'd normally use for entirely different functions.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, take the magnetic waves detection, for instance. Your phone doesn't see magnetic waves through the camera lens. It reads them through the built-in magnetometer.
Wait, the magnetometer, like the sensor the phone uses for the compass app?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Your phone uses it to find north.
Right.
Or to orient your GPS map when you're walking.
Okay, yeah.
But any active powered circuit board, like the ones inside a hidden camera transmitting a wireless signal, it emits a specific localized electromagnetic field.
Ah, I see where this is going.
Right. So what DETEKCAM does is utilize its AI algorithms to process the raw data coming from that compass sensor, the magnetometer. It filters out the Earth's natural magnetic field and searches for the specific frequency signatures of hidden electronics buried inside a wall or an object.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense for magnetic waves. But what about the infrared detection?
Right, the IR.
Because my phone's main camera physically has an infrared filter built right into the hardware, right? So that my everyday photos look normal and aren't washed out by invisible light. So how does software bypass a physical piece of glass?
Well, it doesn't bypass the physical filter. It actually exploits the hardware's tiny margins of error.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Physical IR filters on consumer smartphones are, rarely 100% perfect. A minuscule amount of near-infrared light bleed still hits the digital sensor.
Oh, so it's looking for the mistakes, basically.
Exactly. What DETEKCAM's AI does is isolate the specific pixels receiving that tiny bit of light bleed. It amplifies that data while suppressing the normal visible light spectrum.
That is genuinely clever engineering.
It is. So if there is a spy camera in a dark room blasting infrared light to record night vision, the app's algorithm can spot that invisible beam just by analyzing the localized pixel distortion on your screen.
They're scraping the absolute limits of the hardware's capability there. I mean, the sources mentioned they partnered with a major Korean tech firm and achieved a TI2 rating.
Yes.
I initially wrote that off as just, marketing jargon, but I'm assuming that ties directly into how well this AI processes all this sensor data.
It absolutely does. The TI2 rating, which is awarded by a prominent international certification registrar in Korea, is a highly technical benchmark.
Okay, so it's legit.
Very legit. It isn't just about whether the app can spot a camera. It measures signal processing efficiency and, crucially, false positive reduction.
Right, because my phone would probably freak out over my microwave.
Exactly. Anyone can write an algorithm that beeps when a magnetometer senses a field. The challenge is ensuring the app doesn't trigger a massive alert every time you walk past a refrigerator or a standard Wi-Fi router.
Got it.
So the Korean AI partnership specifically focused on training the models to recognize the precise electromagnetic and light reflection signatures of covert surveillance gear. It filters out all that everyday electronic noise.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because the hardware manipulation is impressive, sure. But the real focal point of these sources is the neuroscience document.
Oh, this is the best part.
Right. The claim is that the app isn't just an external tool you use. It's an actual conditioning program for the user. We need to look at how this ties into the RAS, or the Reticular Activating System.
Yeah. What's fascinating here is how the RAS dictates our entire perception of reality.
Right.
The RAS is a network of neurons located in the brainstem. It basically functions as the ultimate bandwidth allocator for human consciousness.
Meaning what, exactly?
Well, in any given second, your sensory organs are taking in millions of bits of data. Temperature, light, the feeling of your clothes against your skin, background hums of the AC.
Oh, sure.
If your conscious brain tried to process all of that simultaneously, you would experience catastrophic cognitive overload. You just shut down.
Right.
So the RAS determines what data is critical for survival and actively suppresses the rest.
The sources use a really great analogy for this. A crowded room. Like, you're at a loud party, people are talking, music is playing, and it's just a wall of noise.
Yeah, total blur.
You aren't processing individual conversations. But the absolute second someone on the other side of the room says your name.
You hear it instantly.
Instantly. That's your RAS. It has an ongoing list of priorities, your name being one of them, and it immediately reroutes your conscious attention to that specific data point.
Exactly. And the RAS is incredibly programmable. But the problem we face in modern environments is a phenomenon the sources call normalcy blindness.
Normalcy blind.
Right. The brain is a really energy-intensive organ, so it constantly looks for ways to conserve power. When you walk into a hotel room, your brain doesn't meticulously analyze every single object.
Like we think we do, but we don't.
We don't. It takes a quick glance, identifies the room as a familiar archetype, bed, TV, smoke detector, alarm clock, and essentially renders a low-resolution JPEG from your memory to fill in the blanks.
That's wild. It predicts the room instead of actually seeing it?
Yes. The RAS decides, okay, this is a normal environment, we are safe, stop processing visual details to save energy.
Right?
As a result, you become physically incapable of noticing the tiny asymmetrical black dot on the face of the alarm clock, or the fact that the smoke detector is positioned directly over the bed instead of in the center of the room.
Because your brain has never been programmed to tag those anomalies as threats?
Exactly. You are blind to it.
And this is the exact biological flaw the hidden camera industry relies on. I mean, they don't need to make the cameras invisible. They just need to make them boring enough that our RAS filters them out.
Spot on.
Which brings us to the psychological core of DETEKCAM. The app forces an interruption of that predictive rendering. But my question is how? I mean, knowing about the RAS doesn't magically rewire it.
No, it doesn't.
Like, I know I should eat more vegetables, but that doesn't change my brain chemistry to crave broccoli.
Right, unfortunately. Well, The neuroscience document breaks down the specific mechanism for neuroplasticity in the RAS. It actually requires two things to form a new permanent pathway.
Okay.
Repeated focused attention combined with an emotional reward. You cannot just tell the brain something is important. You have to train it through bounded repetition.
Which explains the heavy emphasis on gamification in the app's design.
Precisely.
The sources outline this whole ecosystem they built. Daily scan missions, consecutive day streaks, in-app rewards, scan challenges.
Yeah.
At first glance, I read that and thought, oh, they're just using cheap social media tactics to boost daily active users. But they are actually weaponizing that dopamine loop, the satisfaction of checking off a daily task to build a neurological habit.
It is classical conditioning applied to situational awareness. By asking the user to spend just 5 minutes conducting a scan when they enter a new space, the app forces the conscious brain to stop predicting and start actively observing.
And then you get the little reward.
Exactly. The gamified elements provide the necessary dopamine hit to solidify the action. Over a period of several weeks, the RAS internalizes this new priority. The user actually begins to unconsciously scan environments for anomalies without even needing to open the app.
I see the logic, I really do. But I have a major concern here.
Oh, what's that?
Well, if I deliberately train my brain's threat detection system to look for hidden cameras everywhere I go, what does this do to my baseline anxiety?
Yes.
Am I just going to become a paranoid wreck? Like, if the magnetometer throws a false positive on a weird screw in the wall, am I going to ruin my vacation tearing the room apart? It feels like creating a boy who cried wolf scenario in your own head.
Yeah, that is a very common concern. And it raises an important question about the distinction between paranoia and awareness. The literature specifically addresses this.
Okay.
Paranoia is an undirected, passive state of fear. It is that vague, lingering anxiety of, what if someone is watching me, combined with a feeling of helplessness.
Right.
But what the consistent use of the app trains is threat pattern recognition.
Threat pattern recognition. Okay, let's dig into that difference.
Sure. Think about an experienced driver on a highway. They aren't terrified of the cars around them, right?
No, usually not.
But their brain automatically notes the erratic driver 3 lanes over, or the brake lights flashing a half-mile ahead. They are calm, but they are highly attuned.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
When you first start using the app, you will absolutely encounter false positives. But investigating those false positives is the exact mechanism that calibrates the brain.
So it's part of the training.
Exactly. You check the weird screw, realize it's just a screw, and your brain's algorithm gets slightly sharper. You are replacing passive anxiety with active mastery of your environment.
Okay, yeah. You aren't training yourself to be afraid. You are giving your brain the reps it needs to trust its own assessments.
Exactly.
So we've established that this technology is just this incredibly potent mix of hardware manipulation and behavioral conditioning. I want to look at how they are actually taking this to market because their pricing strategy reveals a lot about their end goals.
It really does. Given the integration of that Korean AI and the complex signal processing involved, you would totally expect a premium price point.
Like hundreds of dollars.
Right. Something targeted exclusively at corporate security teams or high-net-worth travelers.
Yeah.
But instead, they've structured it for mass adoption?
Exactly. There's a 0-day intro tier that is completely free. It's supported by ads and gives you basic access to the AI Pro Camera lens detection. So it's a frictionless entry point. But the premium tier, which unlocks the heavy-hitting tech, the magnetic wave and infrared detection, is remarkably cheap. It is $1 a month if billed annually.
Which is nothing.
$12 a year. And the elite tier, for completely ad-free experience, is just $3 a month. $36 a year.
The pricing strategy suggests they are prioritizing massive user acquisition and market penetration over immediate high margins. By pricing the premium features at the cost of a single cup of coffee per year, they remove the financial barrier to entry for their most vulnerable demographics.
The students, solo travelers, young professionals.
Exactly. It is a strategic play to make the app a ubiquitous, essential utility on every smartphone, much like a flashlight or a calculator. And they are backing this up with a huge community presence.
Oh, right. The marketing push.
Yeah, they aren't just sitting on an app store.
Yeah.
The sources show they are aggressively positioning themselves globally. They're sponsoring the Macrothon Half Marathon in the Philippines. They're running free health check days in Indonesia. They even have a major booth set up at the ACE 2025 Expo in Malaysia. And there's this Christmas raffle giving away Apple products just to promote safety awareness.
They are really trying to build a movement around this.
They are. And it fits perfectly with their practical use guidelines, which are incredibly straightforward.
Yes, the sources outline a very specific protocol for this. The golden rule is do a 5-minute scan before you unpack your bags.
Before you do anything.
Right. You do not want to let your brain settle into that normalcy blindness state. You do it the second you walk through the door while your RAS is still actively processing the new environment.
Prioritizing high-risk zones is critical. In a bathroom, the protocol directs users to scan any objects with a direct line of sight to the shower or the toilet.
Because that's the vulnerability.
Exactly. You are specifically looking for anomalies in air vents, wall chargers, or shelving brackets. If the lighting is low, you activate the infrared detection to leverage the phone's sensor capabilities to catch those night vision emitters.
And in the bedroom, you focus purely on the line of sight to the bed or the wardrobe. You're running the magnetic sensor over alarm clocks, lamps, and power outlets. Basically anything that seems slightly over-engineered.
Yeah.
And the whole process takes minutes, but it completely resets your biological dim line for the duration of your stay. So what does this all mean when we synthesize the tech and the biology?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, DETEKCAM has moved beyond simply building a software utility. They have recognized a fundamental truth about privacy in the modern age, which is that the physical hardware of spy cameras will endlessly evolve.
They'll just keep getting smaller.
Smaller, cheaper, and harder to detect. Attempting to solve the problem with software alone is a losing battle.
It's an unwinnable arms race, basically.
Therefore, their actual product isn't the app. It's the biological upgrade of the user. They have built a behavioral awareness platform.
A behavioral awareness platform.
Right. The human brain provides the ultimate, highly adaptable biological detection system, and the application just provides the necessary technological enhancement layer to feed it the right data.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Together, they create a state of human awareness augmented by intelligent detection. The user is actively conditioning their own neurological instincts to be sharper, faster, and just far more resilient to environmental manipulation.
It is a fascinating approach to personal security. I mean, in a world where digital voyeurism is becoming normalized and where true privacy feels increasingly like an endangered concept, gaining that level of proactive control over your physical space is a massive shift in power.
It transforms the user from a potential target into an active participant in their own environmental security.
It really does. Gaining that peace of mind for the price of a cup of coffee a year is just an incredible value proposition.
Absolutely.
And, it leaves me with one final thought for you to consider. If an app using basic gamification and just 5 minutes of daily attention can literally train your brain's reticular activating system to spot hidden microscopic dangers in just a few weeks, what other invisible patterns, unseen opportunities, or subtle threats in your everyday life is your brain currently filtering out simply because it has decided they are normal?